Hey guys, and welcome back to Susie on the Farm. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Now in today's video, I'm going to be doing some thrift store makeovers, but I'm going to be using the Home Sweet Home transfer. This was my best seller for the new summer release from Orchid Designs. And I'm gonna be honest, I was a little skeptical about it at first. I knew you guys were gonna love it, but for me personally, I couldn't really get inspired by it. So I spent some time, I went out thrifting for items just for this transfer. And as I was picking them up, I was imagining what I could put on them. So in this video, we're gonna go through all of those, and I'm gonna give you some inspiration for the Home Sweet Home transfer. And if you were like me and you didn't get it to begin with, I do still have some left, and I do recommend getting it now. I'm completely inspired and I can't wait to show you guys these projects. So let's go ahead and get started. I picked up a couple of cutting boards at the thrift store, and cutting boards are always great for any kind of kitchen makeover. This one was natural wood, as you can see, but there was a little bit of like a pinkish bleed through on one side. So to begin with, I pulled out DIY paint in the color Letterpress Gray. For some reason, this whole transfer booklet gives me gray, black, white, red vibes, and so I was kind of sticking with that whole theme. So I did the front, the back, the sides, all in one messy coat. And now look at me following the rules. IOD does recommend that if you're using a chalk-based paint or something that does not have a sealer, that you seal it first. So I gave this a seal with some DIY liquid patina, and then I let it dry completely before I began putting the transfer on. Once the liquid patina was dry, I transferred the But First coffee on, and even though I did let it dry completely, I did still have a couple of little areas where the transfer peeled up some of the paint, and that was okay because I'm doing a messy coat anyway, but I did want the letters to look nice, so I just took a marker and tested a small area first to make sure it worked, and then filled in those little areas where the letters were pulled up. Just to be safe, once again, I sealed it in and let that dry. And I picked out a few of the florals from the Saint Germain transfer and just randomly applied them around the words. It's okay if your transfers overlap a little bit. It actually gives it quite a good bit of character. So that's what I did with this one. And once again, when I was finished, I sealed up all my transfers, let it dry. This one's complete. Now, I will tell you guys, I want to finish all these projects before I show you the reveal. That just happened to be the way that I filmed this one. Wasn't intentional. I just didn't take any pictures until I got done, and I had been putting them in this cute little vignette, so you will see all these transformations at the end. Y'all may think I'm crazy too, but I've set a goal for myself for this video to not incorporate any music into it. It is very hard for me to talk all the way through these videos. I just feel like I can only explain what I'm doing to y'all so much, but I decided maybe I would start telling y'all a few little stories. If I'm telling a story, I can talk all day long. So if I start talking about something, and I've kind of got an idea of what I may talk about here in a minute, y'all just bear with me. I'm trying to please some people that don't like all my music. And also, something has happened with my editing software, and I cannot see the screen moving as I'm doing this voiceover, so I may say things in some weird spots. So for the second little cutting board that I got, it's a beautiful colored natural wood, so I didn't want to change that. I just cleaned it up really good, and I picked out a few of these sepia transfers, and they went on so perfectly. And I just kind of played around with them for a few minutes to decide which all ones I wanted to use and the orders I wanted to put them in. So back to my little story. The cat distribution system has been really overactive with me lately. I know you guys all know about Nacho. our precious little kitty. We got a few, like 3 years ago, and he was always in my YouTube videos when he was a kitten because he was curious and playful, and he would just get up there and lay down right up under the camera. And he got older and he got lazier and he quit doing that. And then I moved up here to the store and he wasn't here. Well, that's when I started thinking about maybe getting a shop kitty. So lo and behold, probably about, I don't know, almost 2 months ago, not quite, a stray cat came up here, and it was feral as all get out. It wouldn't let me get anywhere near it, but I started feeding it. And I finally did get close enough to it, and I believe that it was pregnant. Thought it was a boy at first, but then I decided that it was pregnant. So it made a few random appearances here and there, and I could tell it was just hungry, so I have continued to feed it. And then it just kind of disappeared, and I had already given up on making it a shop kitty. I need to get back to the tutorials here for a minute, so pause that story. So for my next project, I had this frame. The glass had been broken in it, so I cut down a piece of paneling to fit in it. And now I want to make a piece of, or a sign from this transfer booklet. And there are some pages in it that has these really pretty borders. One of them was a little too small, but the other was just these corners. So I cut them out. But first, I need to paint this white. I am using Fusion mineral paint in the color Casement. Fusion is an all-in-one paint. I did end up doing, I think I did 3 coats to cover that paneling. I let it dry completely. And then I also painted the frame in French Eggshell by Fusion. So back to the cat story. I gave up on that kitty and decided that maybe I would start looking into getting a kitten for the shop because I really do want a shop kitty. So my son went to his dad's a few weekends ago. I want to say 3 weekends ago now, and they found some abandoned kittens that the mom had abandoned. It was the neighbor's cats. There was a bunch of them. Anyway, long story short, he did bring one home. Sweet little, pretty little, teeny tiny kitten. Maybe too tiny to be away from his mom's, but it was eating, using the litter box. We called it Bonnie because we did think it was a girl. I did make a vet appointment for the kitten and for Nacho because he has some other issues going on. So I made an appointment with the vet for last Friday morning. Well, last Thursday night when I got home, the kitten was deathly ill, like really, really bad sick. Thankfully, Mason wasn't at home. He had spent the night with my mom that night, but we honestly thought the baby was just going to die. It was completely lifeless. I thought it was over. I really did. But we just continued to fool with it. I got a syringe. We gave it water. We rubbed on it a lot. And somehow, miraculously, the kitten pulled through and seemed fine the next morning. Was playing, eating, pooping, everything. So I took it to the vet. The doctor said that most likely what had happened is it had low blood sugar. It did, we think, overeat, and it got sick and had diarrhea and poop and he throwed up. So he might have got dehydrated and his blood sugar dropped really bad, which now that I think about it, that's how I act when my blood sugar drops too, just pretty lifeless. So we got him some medicine and we have him on a eating every 3 hour schedule, and he's been doing fine ever since. He's still too little to bring up to the shop. Oh, and it is a boy, so the name has been changed to Finn. Really quick, back to this project. Y'all just watch me put those transfers on. And now, do y'all remember the pastiche stamp and this sweet little teacup and saucer that's in it? I thought that would be perfect for this sign. So I'm going to use some IOD black permanent ink, and I'm going to stamp this onto the sign. Okay, so the kids named him Finn for Phoenix, like rising from the ashes. So instead of Feeny, we call him Finn. So Finn's doing good. Nacho's got used to him, but he's too small to bring up here to the shop yet. Lo and behold, who shows back up here Saturday at the store? None other than the original feral shop kitty, and she's no longer feral and no longer pregnant. It's been 3 or 4 weeks since we've seen her, but she's definitely not pregnant anymore. She doesn't appear to have kittens, so I don't know if they didn't make it, and I can't find them. But she's been back every day, and now she's super loving and lets me pet her and feed her and even wants to come into the store. I did dry brush to bring out some of those details onto that French eggshell frame. Now this project's super easy. I actually had this picture in the store already priced and it hasn't sold. It's been here a minute and I thought what better way to get it to sell than putting that rooster on it. So that's just all I did. I didn't even take the price tag on it. This one little transfer didn't cost me that much. I'm not going to raise the price just for that. So Shop Kitty is super skinny and pitiful looking. I don't know where she's been, but I'm going to keep feeding her. And if she stays around, I'm going to go ahead and take her to the vet and get her fixed. And she will be the Shop Kitty if she wants to hang around. But now that means that Finn is going to have to stay at the house. And we do not want to have two cats. Nacho is a very spoiled, rotten, loved, very, very loved kitty. So this is just a little one by that was here in my scrap wood. And I couldn't think of anything to put those words on. So I wanted to put one on this one. So I painted it with, what is this? This is black velvet. I did one good coat of black velvet and then I sealed it up. But to seal it, I mixed in, because if you use a sealer over a dark paint, sometimes you'll get a cloudiness. And I've heard that if you mix the paint in with it, you won't get that cloudiness. I didn't even put any paint in there. I just put my dirty brush and put some sealer in with it, stirred it up, and then sealed over the whole thing. So now my biggest fear with Shop Kitty is she's going to turn up with her kittens one day. And then what am I going to do with all of these cats? I'll go from having one cat to who knows how many. And I'm a cat lover, but I do not want a bunch of cats. So there we are. That is the kitty tale in a nutshell. There's a lot more that goes along with it. Okay, so here we are. I do get that sealed up. I did distress it first and smooth out all the edges on the wood, but once I sealed it with that sealer that had the black paint in with it, it kind of covered that up, but I can bring that back out again in just a little bit. So I want to put the Biscuit transfer on here. I measured out this piece of wood. It fit perfectly, so I'm going to go ahead and put this on here. And these transfers on Fusion Paint work like a dream. I always have trouble with the DIY for some reason, but for this one did work great. Some reason I let that sealer dry the same amount of time, but this one went on absolutely perfect. I got it in, I burnished it, and then I thought I need a little bit of color in here too. So I pulled out my scrap transfers, which I have a ton of them, and I just pulled out a little bit of floral, transferred that onto the end of it, and I did come back with sandpaper since this has already been sealed, and I brought back some of that natural wood from underneath, and lastly I sealed it up with some clear wax. For the last project today, I picked up this little wooden crate. Someone had stenciled the word mail on it, and it looked really good, but I want to use a transfer on it. So I went ahead and sanded that off, and I wanted to kind of mimic the gray because I really liked it, and letterpress gray did seem to be a pretty good match. So what I did is I sanded that off, wiped it down really good, and then I messy coated a little bit of that letterpress gray, and then once that was dry, I came back with some crinoline and did a dry brush over it, and it all just kind of blended together and kept that old barnwood look feel to it. So I thought this basket would be pretty neat. The kids are out of school. I really don't want them cooking when I'm not there. So this is a cute little basket. I could put some of their little oatmeal packs, Pop-Tarts, and stuff like that. So I put the word breakfast on it, and I thought that that would hold those really well. Love the red and the gray together on this, and this transfer went on beautifully. So we are finally getting ready for the reveal of all of these projects. I hope that y'all have enjoyed them, and I know you will, but please go ahead and leave me a comment below. Let me know which one was your favorite. Give this video a thumbs up so YouTube knows that you're liking it, so they will share it out to people like us who might like it as well. Thank you guys so much for watching my videos. Next week, I think I'm going to wait till Thursday to release my video because we have a big surprise coming on Thursday that I can't share on Wednesday, but I'm not sure yet. So just be on the lookout for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that y'all have enjoyed all of these makeovers today. Don't forget, I do still have some of the Home Sweet Home transfer book if you didn't get any. And I'm so happy. I think I have talked through an entire 16-minute and 26-second video. That's definitely a record for me, and I'm going to try to do this more often because I get so frustrated with the music too. I can't ever get the volume right. Look how good these look together in this little vignette. I am loving all of these transfers, and I still have many more to use, so I think that means I need to take another thrifting adventure to find items just to put these transfers on. As you can all see, I did go ahead off camera and put some of the transfers on a few other items as well, just to round this all out. Y'all didn't need to see me rub on another transfer or two, but you get the idea, and I hope you've got lots of inspiration for things that you can do with the Home Sweet Home transfer booklet.